In July of 2018, Jonathan Pitts sent in the final manuscript for a book on marriage that he had co-authored with his wife, Wynter. 4 hours later, Wynter took her last breath in the ER. Since then, almost 3 years have passed. So how is this pastor and father of 4 doing? Take a look.
Jonathan Pitts is an author, executive pastor of Church of the City in Nashville, Tennessee, and the father of 4 girls. Jonathan and his wife Wynter celebrated their 15th anniversary with a special dance, not knowing that she would be gone in only a matter of days. In his book, My Winter Season, Jonathan shares his story of loss and how the Lord is helping him make sense of it, while also surrounding him with extravagant love.
Well, Jonathan Pitts joins us now via Skype, and we welcome you back to the 700 Club, Jonathan. Good to have you with us.
Hey, Terry, it's good to be with you again.
Jonathan, Wynter's death was so sudden. What happened?
Yeah, she, long story short, had cardiac dysrhythmia. She had a heart murmur her entire life that we knew about, but wasn't life-threatening. And we go to the cardiologist once a year and never thought that there'd be any chance of it having any kind of effect like this on her. But essentially, she had a cardiac dysrhythmia in combination with her murmur and took her life really suddenly. That's what physically happened, but I just believe that God said it was time and brought her home.
You tried to be self-sufficient in the days after Wynter's death. I think when you have children, that's your immediate reaction. What was actually going on?
Yeah, I mean, I knew that God called me to lead, and there's a quote by a psychologist I love, a guy named Kurt Thompson, that says, to the degree that a parent can make sense of their own stories, to the degree that a child can feel secure in theirs. And I wanted my girls to feel secure in knowing that God was in control. And so I did try to lead well. I failed at times. Thank God he sent so many different angels into my life, different people of his that were there to serve me, including my sister, Carmen, who moved in with me and has been with me now for 2.5 years as a surrogate, and a woman that was affectionately, or just known as Aunt Cece, is now affectionately known as just Cece, and it's really beautiful. I'm grateful for her.
God used a song to touch your heart the day before the funeral. How did that help?
Well, actually, he used a song to touch my heart the day I put her. Actually, the day I lost her, I was at her bedside, and I just knew that the doctor told me to come on in and to say goodbye, and I just sang, "It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out a praise, pour out a praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out a praise to you only. Great are you, God." And it was a reminder to me of I was allowing her, God took her breath, she's going home to him, and I still had breath, and I could still worship God in those moments. And there was a bunch of different moments where music played a pivotal part, worship really.
Yes. You talk in your book about an exit strategy. I saw that title and it didn't become, as I read it, what I thought it was. Tell us what that is and how important is it to have one?
Yeah, well, it was actually really interesting. The morning I woke up, I was just scrolling through my phone, getting ready for a run, trying to wake up, and there was I thought it was an article on exit strategy. I thought it was on leadership transitions as a leader in nonprofit ministry. I thought it was on leadership transitions, and ultimately, I would find out that night after Wynter passed away that it was actually a devotional by a guy named Randy Frazee, a pastor, and Randy was talking about having an exit strategy for life, and he was telling a story of water skiing when he was younger and getting up on his skis and not knowing how to get down off the skis, and his friends are yelling from the boat, "Just let go of the rope, just let go of the rope." And so he finally, after circling the lake several times and being exhausted, simply lets go of the rope, and instead of like crashing and burning like he thought he would, he just slowly glided down below the surface of the water. And he just likened that to what it's like for the believer in Jesus to leave this earth. And I was able to read that with my girls and my family leading into just that long night and a long week after losing Wynter. And it was God literally giving me something to hold on to, reminding me that he took her home slowly, or she just glided into eternity with him, and we didn't have to worry about her.
Wynter had started a ministry called For Girls Like You before her death. How is that ministry continuing today?
It's doing awesome. The one thing that I knew without a doubt when she died is I was not going to let her legacy die. And so for the last 2.5 years, I basically turned her, I jokingly called it a for-profit nonprofit because it's never made money, but this magazine, For Girls Like You magazine, into a nonprofit ministry, and it's just grown. It's gone from like, I don't know, 1,200 subscribers to over 5,000, and it's still growing to this day. And just growing in partnerships. And we actually have had some really beautiful stories in the magazine since then. So it's just growing. And her books continue to sell, and her legacy lives on.
And how are her girls doing?
Our girls are awesome. They're four of the most resilient. They are the four most resilient girls I've ever met in my life, and they inspire me each and every day. They're doing well. We moved to Franklin, Tennessee, which we'd moved to just before Wynter passed away. They've developed new friendships, and school's going well, and I couldn't be more proud of them.
Well, I want to say that your book is wonderful. Jonathan has more to share in his new book. It's called My Winter Season, Seeing God's Faithfulness in the Shadow of Grief. If you're struggling with grief, it's a wonderful book for you. It's available in stores nationwide. Jonathan, thank you so much for sharing your story with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Bless you.
God bless you.